It's 9:30. We're going to go ahead and get started with our pre-meeting work session for a 10 o'clock council meeting. Approval of monthly bills. There were no changes. Any questions? All right, approval of minutes. No changes. Any questions? Public hearings. Resolution 25092, approved request for Class 2 lounge license, liquor, beer, and wine off premise for Mahatma. Okay. Doing Business Inc., doing business as The Reserve at 1406B Maryland Road, Decatur, Alabama 35601.
No changes.
No changes. Any questions? Resolutions. Resolution 25093, assessed $33,407.60 against 425 Vine Street for cost of abatement of unsafe conditions.
No change.
Any questions? Resolution 25094, approved vacation request 55625 for 928 Sims Road. Any questions? Resolution 25095, award bid number 25019 for the construction of Veterans Drive water main extension. Any questions? Resolution 25096, approved agreement with P. Wright McAnally for design of Central and Beltline intersection realignment. Any questions? Resolution 25097, authorize mayor to approve Enterprise Fleet Management, Inc. lease agreement and sale of city-owned vehicles.
There's a slight change for the betterment of the city, which I just made aware of by Kyle DeMeester. There's an addendum which allows the city in this agreement to self-insure liability insurance. We already had it in there for the comprehensive or property damage, but this allows us. So there's an additional addendum which the city clerk's office has added this morning. We only became aware of it right before we came down here. But it's in our best interest to accept that. Kyle, is that?
That's right.
Yeah.
No,
So now we have.
I'm sorry, you were about to say something else.
No, we've got both liability and comprehensive now self-insured. Otherwise, we'd have to have basically, in some cases, no deductible.
Are you finished? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I have concerns about this, and Herman, you were here before when we tried to look at leasing before. There was a council member who just kind of set on us leasing and said that that would actually have us to keep a routine as far as replacement of our vehicles. But there's certain things, and of course we've had this for a week and a half now, but when you start looking at the contract, there are just some things in it that concern me in section 4 and 6 and 8. I just like to have a little bit more time to look at this, unless there's an issue for us to go into this now. Is there a
Well, Kyle had to answer that.
Is there a time issue?
Greg can touch on there are deadlines to when we order these vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
So if we wait too long, we could potentially miss them. I don't know.
So if we move back to the next council meeting, is that too long?
I don't know, 2 more weeks.
So it's all operated off factory order basis. What we're always going to encourage you guys to factory order vehicles. We're able to give you all the incentives, government pricing. And if we wait too long, the order base can shut down. And then if you do have a need for these vehicles, then we're going to have to go out of stock. You're still getting government pricing on it, but obviously they may have a little bit more bells and whistles that are not necessary.
But I got you. Some of the expenses that we're incurring, I'm not really comfortable with them without having more discussion on it. But so if 2 weeks doesn't push it back too far, I'd at least like to push it back for 2 weeks.
Mr. Jackson, if we need to wait to get what we need to the next cycle, we can do that too. Our fleet needs upgraded, but it's not that it's not obsolete. So.
Absolutely. Okay.
I'm good.
That would be my move because I just, again, the contract, there's some things that just concern me. So that's what
All right, any other discussion or questions? All right, resolution 25098, and I guess on that, somebody just needs to make a motion.
I make a motion that we table it. Oh, you're right, I'm sorry. I'm actually, go ahead, thank you.
All right, resolution 25098, authorize mayor to execute agreement with Morgan County Commission for election equipment rental. Any questions? Resolution 25099, authorize mayor to execute agreement with Quadient for leasing of postage machine. Any questions? Resolution 25100, authorize mayor to sign agreement with Hall of Fame course design for constructing the Flying Dragon Disc Golf Course.
There's no change to this, but I have a meeting with Decatur Utilities at 10, so I won't be here at the regular meeting. Suzanne will be here to present it, but just wanted to, if there was any questions, go ahead and get those answered. This is a professional service, so in talking with Mr. Marks and Jeremy, we don't think we've got to go out for bid because it is so specialized. This is, I think the agreements for $114,000. The grant was $100,000, and we're going to use $14,000 out of our grant match budget, community development grant match budget. So if there's any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Any questions? Thanks, Alan. All right, ordinance is first reading, ordinance 254610, approve updating voting districts and voting center descriptions to include annexations.
As we discussed at the last meeting, we'd asked for a double vote. All this does is incorporate any annexations since the last election, and that's all it does. We have a deadline that we must meet. If you don't do it today, then we'll have to meet specially because you have to do it 6 months prior to the election.
Okay.
And we wanted to get, it was some annexations that were just done, that y'all remember.
Yeah.
And that's why we did it.
When you look at that, Herman, if we had a special call meeting at our next work session on Monday, would that be too far back?
That's too tight because you got to be published. See?
And it's a holiday.
It's a holiday, so it's got,
We're not having one yet. Okay.
yeah. But that's all. City Clerk Stephanie Simon, she helped with. Obviously, she actually did most of it.
Yeah.
So that's what it did. We talked about it before,
We did.
not having a special meeting,
We
and
did.
y'all thought maybe you could do it today, a double vote. So,
We did.
yeah, we appreciate
I had a
that.
meeting set with Rick Thompson to kind of look at some other things on there, but we were not able to get together last week, so that was the only concern. So we're good.
All right, that is the last item. No, sorry, no, it's not. Reappoint Sheila Davis to the Decatur Morgan County Port Authority with term expiring May 17, 2030, and the first full term. Okay. Any questions? All right, we will get started at 10. Thanks. Call the meeting to order. Dane Shaw will lead us in our invocation and pledge.
Father, we thank you for this day. We come to you and ask for your wisdom as we lead the city, Father. We ask that you would just keep our eyes on you as we make decisions, and we thank you for protecting us in everything we do. And it's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dane. Roll call. Here.
Here. Here. Here.
All right, before we get started, I'm just going to read a brief statement around the public comments and how we'll handle those moving forward. And after a couple of weeks of seeing what other cities, how they handle public comments, and maybe what hopefully will work best for us, have landed here, and we'll see how it works. Moving forward, there will be no public comment period during work sessions. These sessions are designed for discussion among council members and staff, and we will keep them focused on that purpose. We will, however, continue to offer public comment opportunities during formal council meetings following the same structure we've used in the past. A public comment period at the beginning of the meeting for agenda-related items and a comment period at the end of the meeting for non-agenda items. Public hearings will also continue as scheduled, and those hearings will include time for public input on the specific matters being considered as required by law. It's important to note that under Alabama state law, and specifically the Alabama Open Meetings Act, the public has the right to attend, watch, and listen to council meetings. However, the law does not grant the public the right to participate or speak unless the council chooses to allow it. These meetings are primarily business meetings designed to handle the operations and governance of the city of Decatur. Public comment is something we choose to allow in order to hear from our residents, and we want to continue doing so. We must also ensure our meetings remain respectful and productive. To that end, we are implementing the following rules for all public comment periods, and I want to be clear, there will be zero tolerance for violations. Each speaker will have 3 minutes with an additional minute to wrap up. No profanity will be allowed. Comments must be directed to the council, not to other members of the public or city employees. No personal attacks will be tolerated. No disruptions or comments from the audience during the meeting. This is a time for the council to listen, not necessarily to engage in dialogue or debate. These rules will remain in effect until November, when the next administration takes office. If anyone violates these rules, the council reserves the right to either end the meeting or require that individual to leave. Again, we welcome public input, and we appreciate the passion that people have for their city, but it must be expressed in a way that ensures respect and order. Thank you for your understanding and your continued engagement with our city government. After that, we'll move into agenda-related public comments. We did have Mr. Faruqi who signed that.
Before while you're on his way up, do we have that backwards? Because Herman, doesn't our procedural ordinance call for public comment at work session?
As deemed appropriate by the council.
The work sessions, though, but not at the actual meeting itself.
I'm talking about the work session. Notice the work session language says as deemed appropriate by the council, and the presiding officer has determined this. If the council wishes to change that matter, they'll have to vote. You'll have to vote to do
That's what I'm
that.
saying. We would have to vote on that ordinance.
Yes.
I'm open to that if someone wants to make a change to these rules, but these are the rules as the presiding officer that I'm putting in place today. If we want to change to those, we can vote on it.
I guess I need to look at that again, because my understanding was that, and I don't know if you talked to Herman, was that work sessions were different than the actual meetings themselves.
They are.
And that when we set this up way back when, it was set up for the comment actually to be made during the work sessions and not the meetings themselves, because at that point it was after the fact because we had voted on it generally.
Exactly.
So that was the reason that it was set up in the originally.
But
So-
it just says it's deemed appropriate, so.
Okay, I'll look at it again. Thank you.
Yep.
In the procedural ordinance.
All right, go ahead.
After 27 years serving this country, why do I have to beg my city council for the right to speak and provide commentary on my municipal government and their activities
and I cannot do that at a workstation or work session.
Those are just the rules.
Okay, so arbitrarily, were those rules ever voted on?
No, other than what it says in the ordinance, which is as the chair or the presiding officer.
It doesn't say the presiding officer can decide unilaterally to do anything.
It does. It gives
Well,
Well, let's
the
listen.
moderator is who is in charge of the meeting, okay?
How did you come to believe it would be a good idea to take comments away from citizens during a council meeting? Did anyone vote on that here? Would anyone like to raise their hand and say this was a good idea? So we can assume perhaps that it was a bad idea.
Does anyone else think that was a good idea? To remove in the last 2 weeks? Yes.
And how would that be? Why was that a good idea? Councilman potentially elect. Why? So 1 of 5 thought that was a good idea. Okay. Am I going to be interrupted some more? Thank you. How is it that we paid $17,263 last month to Red Sage and Positively Decatur for a propaganda piece starring Jack Fight from Fight Building Company and his new business development manager? Could that be construed as conflict of interest?
If you're looking at me, I think he just read, you got to address him, not.
I am. I have. I hear crickets coming from the council. The uncomfortable silence is bad. Would it have been better for Kyle to simply have declined that interview process? Because that's a lot of money to spend for his potentially ad campaign.
The video was actually before I was employed by it, but not that I have to justify myself to you.
You certainly don't. Thank you. It's now 4 more months since Governor Ivey signed Senate Bill 291, mandating training on ethics and conflict of interest. Raise your hands if you've completed it. In the agenda, reference to voter district boundary change. Is there any population changes involved in inclusion of recently annexed properties?
Not that would make us adjust the voting district.
And how do you know that?
I don't know that there was a recent.
Well, but you can look at the description of the property that was annexed.
Well, the description of the properties is about 90 pages of gobbledygook, which realistically
There
about
was
2
no
pages.
change to the voting districts.
Okay. But are there new voters now in those new annexed properties?
Not enough to adjust the voting districts.
Okay. Should Decatur City Administration be allowed to trespass its citizens for allegations of violent actions without due process? Jacob?
I don't know.
Does anybody know? Okay, then why did that happen? How did that happen?
It's outside of the council.
Okay, if we can create a resolution entered by Mr. Jackson at the last council meeting to hire Tory Mack as our police chief, can we not also enter a resolution that will guarantee due process and avoid the appearance of arbitrary justice and decision-making by this city? Can we not do that?
Possibly.
But you won't.
I have no plans to do that.
I know you have no plans to do anything. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're moving to the agenda. Approval of monthly bills, and we had a quick request for 2 separate votes. We'll take this one first. Check 1840. Someone? Is that Pepper? Motion by Mr. Pepper.
Second.
I thought we didn't use those 2 yet.
Oh.
It's a big one. Okay, you said 2. That's fine.
Second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
Aye.
Jackson.
No.
McMaster. Pepper.
Check 1840, four is approved 4-1. Check 18318. Motion by Mr. Pepper. Second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
Aye. Jackson.
No.
McMaster.
Aye.
Pepper.
18318 is approved 4-1, and now the rest of the monthly bills.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pepper.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ladner.
Aye.
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 Jackson.
Aye.
McMaster. Pepper.
The rest of the monthly bills are approved 5-0. Approval of minutes. We'll take all three of these together. Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call.
Platt.
Aye.
Aye.
Pepper.
Minutes are approved 5-0. Next, we have public hearings. Resolution 25092, approved request for Class 2 lounge license for Mahatma Incorporated, doing business as The Reserve at 1406B Beltline Road, Decatur, Alabama 35601.
Yeah, they have met all criteria. It's a new package store.
All right, this is a public hearing. If there's anyone that would like to speak on this item, open the floor now. Mr. Ruby.
Okay, Jacob, in our last email conversation on May 12th concerning an approval given for outdoor alcohol presence at Ingalls Harbor, do you recall that? But another group that was funded by the Morgan County Chamber represented and owned the indoor liquor license.
Yeah, I think the conversation was that if there was a violation, I don't know that. I'm not able to investigate that.
Well, actually, you are.
Well, I wasn't there. I didn't go.
Have you asked anyone?
I think if there was a violation, then that needs to be reported to the city.
I reported to you.
Okay, if there's how do we report someone that thinks there's violation of, he brought it up in the last meeting too, but.
Report it to the Revenue Department, would be where I'd
Which
start.
is, I believe what I told you the Revenue Department handles.
Actually, what you told me was it was approved for outside. If they moved it inside, they were not authorized to do so and will have repercussions.
And who did I say usually handles those things?
You said that the revenue, but you're the oversight liaison for them, are you not?
So the Revenue Department.
So you haven't asked them in your duty and responsibility?
There may have been some issues, so.
Okay, so was there a violation?
Sir, you address us.
Was there a violation? That's my question.
I do not know. I reported it to the Revenue Department had that information.
Okay, but you haven't gone back and checked to see, because here's the question.
I'll let them handle it.
You're letting a lot of people off the hook for handling stuff,
Repercussions.
including our police department, by the way. What are those repercussions, Jacob?
I do not know. I would believe loss of access to city facilities or the ability to rent those would be part of that.
When was the last time the Revenue Department attended any of these events to ensure compliance?
I'm not sure.
Can you ask?
No,
Why not? This is a question of one of your citizens.
it's not.
Well, if we don't understand the process, how can we comply?
Well, you've reported that. It's been given notice to the Revenue Department. They'll handle it.
Okay, so if the answer to that question is it's never been in compliance, no one has ever gone to check these things, and how effective is it?
I do think we check on those things.
Okay, you think. What were the outcomes of previous failures to comply?
I'm sure if you remember any.
So it's really a law, like the leash law, that no one's,
No, there will be repercussions if there's a violation.
okay. Thank you.
All right, anyone else here to speak on this item? Speak now. All right, seeing no one here to speak, we'll consider the public hearing closed. We have a motion by Mr. Pepper.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call. Aye.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Pepper.
Resolution 25092 is approved 5-0. Resolution 25093 assessed $33,407.60 against 425 Vine Street Northwest, the cost of abatement of unsafe conditions.
Before you speak, Josh, I want to make a motion for this first, and I'll let you speak. I just, because I had given my word that if we did not find a resolution with this, that I would make the motion for this to be demoed, and I want to follow through, and so I'll make a motion.
Got a motion by Mr. Jackson.
Please go ahead.
Second by Mr.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I just.
All right, so this is request permission to assess the abatement costs of the unsafe building. This cost is for the asbestos testing, abatement, and demolition of the building.
All right, we do have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Platt.
Aye.
Aye. Jackson.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Pepper.
Resolution 25093 is approved 5-0.
Before y'all move on, just let me know that she did sign in to speak and did not get to speak.
I didn't know it was on that item. You've heard the.
What item, Ms. Bradley, number or item are you wanting to speak on?
She said that Carrie Matthews.
It'll be, yes, yeah. All right, resolution 25094, approved vacation request 55625 for 928 Sims Road.
Good morning, council.
Good morning.
Tommy Wills with the Planning Department. And the applicant wants to vacate 1.8 acres of a gas easement, and DU is fine with this vacation.
So moved. Motion by Mr. Pepper.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call. Aye.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 25094 is approved 5-0. Resolution 25095, award bid number 25019 for the construction of Veterans Drive water main extension.
Yeah, we opened bids on this. We had 4 responsive bidders, and this is the low bidder, and I'd recommend awarding it to them.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pepper.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call. Aye.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 25095 is approved 5-0. Resolution 25096, approved agreement with Q. Wright McAnally for design of Central and Beltline intersection realignment.
Yeah, but this is to engineer straightening out Central Parkway as it goes south from the Beltline, and then also improvements along, I guess it's Decatur Avenue, whatever that is, below there, and then also for a sewer extension to this property.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pepper. Second. Second by Mr. McMasters. Any discussion? Roll call. Aye.
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 McMaster.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 25096 is 5-0. Resolution 25097, authorize mayor to approve Enterprise Fleet Management Incorporated lease agreement and sale of city-owned vehicles. Had a discussion about tabling.
I'd like a motion, make a motion to table this so that we get a full understanding of what we're dealing with here.
I have a motion to table by Mr. Jackson, second by Mr. McMasters, and this would be tabled to the June 2nd meeting.
That works for me.
Any discussion? Roll call. Aye.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 25097 is tabled until June 2nd. Resolution 25098, authorize mayor to execute agreement with Morgan County Commission for election equipment rental.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pepper.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call. Aye.
Pike.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 25098 is approved 5-0. Resolution 25099, authorize mayor to execute agreement with Quadient for leasing of a postage machine.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. Pike. Any discussion? Roll call. Aye.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Resolution 25099 is approved 5-0. Resolution 25100, authorize mayor to sign agreement with Hall of Fame Course Design for constructing Flying Dragon Disc Golf Course.
This is a grant from MRV to improve the existing course at Jack Allen.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. McMasters, and we had a 100,000 grant, and then it was about 114 quote. and so
Right.
that a grant match.
Right.
Okay. All right, any discussion? Roll call. Aye.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 25100 is approved 5-0. Next, we have ordinances first reading. Ordinance 254610, approved updating voting districts and voting center descriptions to include annexation.
Motion for immediate consideration.
We have a motion for immediate consideration by Mr. Pepper, a second by Mr. McMasters. Herman, this is for any annexations in the past.
Since the last election, what this means is these individuals, if there are people living on this property, they're citizens of Decatur. So all we're doing is bringing it forth. It should have, as we discussed earlier, minimum impact, if any, to the overall percentages.
Yeah. All right, this is a motion for immediate consideration. Any discussion? Roll call. Aye.
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 McMaster.
Aye.
Pepper.
Aye.
Ordinance 254610 is approved 5-0. Sorry. Immediate consideration is approved 5-0. Do we have a motion? So moved. Motion by Mr. Pepper. Second by Mr. McMasters. Any discussion? Roll call. Aye.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Aye.
Ordinance 254610 is approved 5-0. Next, we have boards and committees. Reappoint Sheila Davis to the Decatur Morgan County Port Authority with term expiring May 17, 2030. Motion by Mr. Pepper, second by Mr. McMasters. Any discussion? Roll call. Aye.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
McMaster.
Aye.
Pepper.
Sheila Davis is reappointed with a vote of 5-0. Next council work session will be held on June 2nd, 2025 at 5 p.m. City offices are closed in observance of Memorial Day next Monday, May 26th. The next regular council meeting will be held on June 2nd at 6 p.m. Anything from, yep.
Last week's interview, what appeared to be a highly qualified planning candidate, wanted to get some feedback on next steps for that.
I'd say we move forward and make an offer.
I would say this, that the candidate was sensational. He was very good. A few months ago, I asked this council to entertain opening it back up, and so that we could interview and take advantage of the opportunity that was presented with just unfortunate circumstances that are going on now. There was another candidate in that pool, Mr. Bowman. I would really like, and I know he's in Memphis, that it would not take long for him to get here. I spoke with Michelle Jordan, who was our former director of planning. She is familiar with this person. She says that he's absolutely sensational as well. I think that you might have interviewed him for a different position here. But even though the candidate last week was awesome, I was very impressed. I was more impressed with him than I have been with any other candidate. I do think that it's our responsibility, especially coming with a recommendation from our former planner, to take a look at this person, and it's our responsibility, and we need to do our due diligence to uncover every stone. I think that the planning director is such a critical position in our city that we have to take every opportunity that we can, especially if it's sitting right in front of us. So I would like to interview Mr. Bowman before we move forward. That's not saying that I'm going to go with that person, because again, I have no reservations about the candidate that we interviewed last week, but I do want to make sure that we're not passing over. We might have a star on our hands. I want to make sure that we're not passing over a superstar. So that would be my recommendation.
And just to piggyback off of that, I'd ask the rest of the council that we continue to move forward with the gentleman we interviewed last week. The gentleman that interviewed last week has got a fantastic resume. He clearly has got the experience that is needed in the situation. And the city's been hurting for years without a planner, and this is something that we need to move forward with.
I think
as quickly as possible.
I had called, have some, I guess, network in Memphis, West Memphis, and had a good response on someone from Mr. Bowman in his role. It was a commercial real estate person that had worked with him. I do have some concern about losing. I know Mr. Cross had some other opportunities. If there's a way we can express to him, I think probably the full council, and y'all speak up if you disagree, was impressed and wanted to move forward, but I certainly don't mind making sure that we interview if he can come quickly. Is that fair? We expressed to Mr. Cross very, very interested. But we had one other candidate, and just want to make sure we're covering our bases. And he may be great. Give him a shot.
Do you have a date available this week?
It needs to be.
It needs to be this week.
I'll work around it. I mean, because this is such a critical position, I'll work around it, but I just don't want to leave a stone unturned. I do not.
I was thoroughly impressed with Mr. Cross. I think everybody was. He proved to be competent, have the prior background. He's led in a lot of different roles, some even outside of what we traditionally see as planning. That shows he has, the experience needed. but I would be fine, but I don't want to delay beyond this week, personally.
All right. I will reach out and see if
Especially
he's
with next
available.
week being a holiday, and that candidate, expressed his timing with another offer, so.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, anything else? All right, we'll move into public comment section, and I'll repeat some of what was said earlier. We'll just move on. Okay. Each speaker will have 3 minutes with an additional minute to wrap up. No profanity will be tolerated. Direct comments to the council, not members of the public or city employees. No personal attacks will be tolerated. No disruptions or comments from the audience. And there will be zero tolerance for on these rules. So we'll start in order. First on the list was Lisa Bradley.
Before I get started, I do want to say, last time we were having public comment, I think what you all need to understand is we all watched the video where the police officer used foul language when he did what he did to LJ. And so at that moment, yeah, our feelings are in an outrage. And we pay you all salary. We pay the police salary. So we don't work for y'all. Y'all work for us. So if it's okay for the police to talk to us this way, then you have to understand where people's feelings were when we came in here and were upset and used foul language. I'm going to apologize because I have integrity about myself. I'm hurt. I have a close friend that I lost. I have a close friend who's mourning her son. I asked you two last time I saw you all, did you all do some homework? Did you get some answers for me?
I did.
Okay, tell me what you learned.
I learned that a gentleman I talked to went to high school with LJ, and he said he was just always a joy to be around, and he was a super great guy. And,
Did he tell you how he pours into the community? How he poured into Decatur, into the children, into the city? Did he tell you that?
No, so this is somebody.
Well, if you guys go to YouTube, when you get a chance, go to YouTube and watch John Scott Speaks, and you'll learn a lot about who he is. I get anxiety when I come in here now, and it's unfortunate because you guys consider yourselves leaders. I'm going to ask all of you, do all consider yourself a leader? Do you believe that as a leader you have to have empathy, compassion, integrity? Are any of you leaders going to take the initiative to reach out to LJ's mother? I saw Billy Jackson was at the funeral, and I salute you, Billy, for being a leader. But the rest of you all, the mayor, none of you guys, nobody has reached out to this woman. You all are parents. Every one of you up here are a parent. If your child was killed in the presence with the police, would it bother you? Would it? You? Would it make you feel some type of way if the leaders in Decatur, nobody's reaching out to me? The first thing they want to do is get out and put a false narrative out for the community to make opinions false, and they're not correct, but that's what they're doing to Paulette. I go see Paulette multiple times a week because I love her. I'm not from here. These are the first people I met when I moved to Decatur, Alabama. That family, I love them. My kids, their cousins, uncle. LJ was an uncle to my kids. So to sit there and I'm trying to be there for her as a loved one. But to sit there and continuously watch her cry, to think of what they did to her son, to LJ, and nobody in leadership wants to reach out to this woman and console her. Like, that's a slap in the face. I can't believe you guys are calling yourselves leaders and nobody's took that initiative. Nobody. Carlisle came and told a story. He told a story, then he got on the internet and told another story. I'm all over the place. My emotions are everywhere. I apologize to people who I've had issues with here because I'm hurting. I'm hurting in a way that's undescribable. I can't even explain it to nobody because I don't even understand it myself. I feel like Jell-O. I feel numb. I feel like, once again, Decatur has failed, and you guys are taking the same route you took with Steve. The same route. Nobody's doing nothing. Y'all are sitting waiting for a report that y'all already know what y'all saw. Y'all know the rules. Y'all saw the laws like I saw the laws. Why are y'all waiting All y'all doing is stirring the pot. Y'all can't get that? Y'all want folks to come and burn the city down for real? Oh, well, show us that then. Show us that then. Stop standing and looking at us dumbfounded, looking at us lost with no type of empathy, no compassion whatsoever. Y'all aren't doing any of that. And it's a slap in the face. Thank you. See, that's why none of y'all gonna be up here next time.
Mr. Faruqi.
I don't believe I was the second one on the list. Okay. Police Advisory Board, where do we stand on that?
As I stated last time, when Chief Matt is able to appoint us, we'll be moving.
That's not what you stated. What you stated is that you were working on it.
Yeah, then I said we would wait until the chief got
Are
here.
there recommendations already?
There are from other folks, not the council has not discussed it yet.
Okay, so what are those recommendations since you've got them?
We will discuss that when the council discusses it.
Okay. And similar to what Ms. Bradley just mentioned up, the problem is that you're not doing anything. So this is a problem that's been identified. There is no oversight of our police department. So the abuse that citizens can and have been exposed to, there is no check on that. So when are we going to perhaps have this? Wait until Matt comes, or provide him with perhaps 3 courses of action and then make him the 4th one? Let him provide the 4th recommendation.
Here in 2 weeks.
Okay, I got you. We'll push that down the road. The voting district discussion earlier, there is no product, no map, and no data to support this other than the feel-good statement of there is no change. So when I look at it as a citizen, I want to know what is the change going to look like. I don't know. I can read through a bunch of plats that describe, various distances and geographic points, but there is no map. Can we not provide a map for those types of documents?
You can probably get a map. There really was no material change to the population.
Well, how do you know that?
We just know from the annexation. Herman stated when we voted on this.
Yeah, but you didn't have numbers in terms of people living in those areas that were annexed.
It's very few.
Well, yeah, very few and some, but again.
So we're talking about the actual voting districts makes no material difference.
Okay, and that's an assumption at this point with no maps and no facts and no data. Mr. Jackson, apparently everyone thought that the guy that gave the last presentation, Chris Cross, was the guy to hire. Okay.
He was very sharp.
I don't doubt that. I sat in on all of the interviews of the 4 people. The one question that I asked all of you was a concern I had when he referred to his mayor during that interview, that the reason he's looking for a job is because his mayor is leaving office and he does not know, to his credit, he admitted, does not know whether the new mayor wants him in that job or not. So that's really the only reason he's leaving.
He actually said, though, that his mayor, and when he said that, I took it to mean that, and I could be jumping, but I took it to mean that because he actually said that he was appointed by the mayor and that he was not appointed by the council. And with that, his mayor is what he referred to, with that happening, that the mayor who had chosen him had been defeated and was leaving office, and that the next mayor was coming in, and that mayor may or may not have chosen him as a candidate. So there's a lot of uncertainty there. So I think you and I both, I can't speak for you, but I would be looking for an opportunity as well if there was uncertainty with my future. So I think that's what he's actually doing. I didn't actually take issue, and I'm a person who tries to dissect almost everything, Mr. Ruger, but I didn't take issue with the fact that he said that my mayor, because it was the person who selected him.
Was there any concern on anyone's point of view, because I know, Jacob, you are big on growth for the city. Was there any concern that under his mayor, his growth rate for that population has been dropping over 6% during the last 4 years?
Yeah, so I think you know this, but in Illinois, I believe in 2003, 87 out of 102 counties lost population.
I didn't know that, but I did find out on Facebook. Somebody put that out there, but go ahead.
I didn't see it on Facebook. You can simple Google search to tell you. I think over 80 or about 80% of every city and town in the state of Illinois lost population in 2023.
6% over the last 4 years?
I can only look at 2020 through 23. Actually, every single county in 2020 for the second year in a row, every metropolitan area lost population in Illinois. So I think with some context, that wasn't as concerning, but it's something to look at.
Okay, and I would offer maybe we all look at that, because where is 6% in comparison to the average loss?
Pretty much in line, but there were some that lost less, and there were some that lost a lot more in Illinois.
Okay, so we're going after the loss leader rather than the best representative of our city.
We're going after those.
Now, I will just give you my impression of that interview. He was the most malleable of the candidates. I take that back. Second most malleable candidate that you looked at. Two of them understood what ethics means. IACP, they could recite bits and pieces of that.
He's certified, and we've hit.
And you're certifiable. Thank you, sir.
Sarah French.
So Jacob, do you just big boy the decision to make no public comment at work session, or should it be voted on amongst all council members?
We can vote on it, and as I said in the beginning, if that's something you want to do, I have no problem with that. I've worked with Herman on how we would move forward. So.
I mean, so will you ask the other council members at some point if we can do a vote? 20 months with little. Okay. 21 months with little moving forward. I originally was fooled and thinking our biggest problem was our police department and the actions of breaking policies in September of 2023. Unfortunately, in the months following that, I became aware it wasn't just our police department. It was an evil that corrupt this city. The mayor, his employees, the city department, the police department, the fire department. I don't know what kind of spell people are under to continue to go along with inhumane actions. I don't know what holds the mayor or whoever has over our city employees to where people blindly follow immoral and corrupt decisions. I am to the conclusion that there will be no healing or moving forward until people holding us back are gone. And if you fall in line with these people, then let's go. June starts anew for us, a new chief that will not allow discrimination, a new chief that will be here to do the job he has sworn to do. I don't think our current department even understands that the job is to get unlawful citizens off the street and keep us other citizens safe. He does, and I'm praying for him already to be strong, confident, and stand alone if need be. We will support him and the staff he chooses to leave in place. That is where our current officials have failed us, scared to stand alone and do what's right, scared to go against the mayor, and that's every department in the city. After June and the coming months after, we will have elections, and our only hope for the city is to get out the people who have not cared about this city healing and coming together, anyone who moved too slow or not at all. With that, Ladner, Pepper, and McMasters, do you plan on running for your seats again?
I haven't made that decision.
I have not made the decision.
Okay. Also, one last question. Are we aware if any of the police department called and tried to be funny and interview the planning director on the side incognito? Justice for Steve Perkins and justice for John Scott.
Anissa.
I first want to ask, have any of you ever received a phone call from a mother who is weeping and crying so hard that she can't get her words out, but she tells you that I have to be in Huntsville Hospital in 2 hours because the doctors have told me that my son won't make it? We go to support her, and as we walk in the ICU, John Scott Jr. codes. We were there for 3 hours. He codes again. And he keeps fighting. He keeps trying to live. And you go into the room and you see all of these machines in his body. His body's so swollen, you can't even recognize him. His feet is scarred, and you could tell he was physically abused. I want to ask you, Jacob, why did you end public comment?
As I've stated, after the last meeting where we had it, I felt like we needed to find a reset and figure out a better way to do it.
What did it solve?
An opportunity to try to make it more productive and respectful.
Okay. The type of energy and voice you use to end public comment is the energy and voice you should have been using all along. Use that same energy and voice when your mayor lies over and over again, and you know he is lying, and you all say and do nothing. Use that same energy and voice when you know Natus lies and lied on John Scott Jr.'s cause of death. Use that same energy and voice to call out the Decatur Police Department command staff when you know they are corrupt. Use that same energy and voice when you know there's an HR director acting outside of her scope of job duties. That's all we've been saying this entire time, is use your energy and voice to do the right things, to call out people for corruption, lies, negligence, abuse of power, and over-policing. You sat here in 2 meetings ago and you said you trust the police department when you were just given another example last week why you can't trust the police department. To have an officer call and pretend to be doing investigative work for HR to get information on Chief Mack, when this officer could have easily asked you all about Chief Mack, you hired him. It's unethical and he should be fired. It is not in his job duties to investigate the chief of police. He is a city employee with limits, but he did it because someone allowed him to do it, encouraged him to do it, and you can tell he's been doing that before because he was comfortable doing it. The Fultondale chief confirmed with multiple news outlets that Mr. Billy Jackson was telling the truth, and his statement from last week was accurate. But who's going to use their energy and voice to call out the officer impersonating his position? Who's going to do that publicly? The same way you publicly explain why you ended public comments 2 weeks ago should be the energy and voice you use to change this city. Which one of you will use your voice and energy to denounce Tab? Which one of you is going to use your energy and voice to demand that Tab apologizes to Mr. Jackson? Tab had a beer party of a press conference to try to humiliate the most qualified and experienced councilman in these chambers, more qualified and experienced than all of your terms put together, including the mayor. So I'll leave you with this. If you're bold enough to be silenced, then be bold enough to confront the corruption happening right in front of you. Stop using your voice to protect power. Start using your voice to protect the people, because your silence is neutral. It's a choice. And we see exactly who you choose every single time you don't speak up. Justice for Steve Perkins, justice for John Scott Jr. Cowards.
Issuing warrants out on people on a building that our tax dollars pay for is ridiculous. Now, the officers that came and hid at my house on September 29th were actually trespassing. A man comes in here and makes threats towards blacks week after week, and Jacob even sent you a threatening letter that had you scared. Or what about the older white man that came in on December 6th last year who said that he was drunk and had to be escorted out and caused a big disturbance? Why didn't these people receive trespassing warrants?
I don't know anything about the guy you mentioned. The first one, I gave that information to the police department. We didn't make any decisions on trespassing anyone.
Now, those were actually grounds for a trespassing warrant, not the bogus trespassing warrants y'all tried to throw on supporters for standing up for what's right. I'm tired of the disrespect shown to me and my family. And just to think, when Steve was killed, I saved this little wicked city because there were people calling me from everywhere wanting to come turn this city every which way but loose, and we chose to keep it peaceful. Now, my dad got up here about a month ago and told you all how he was being followed home by DPD on several occasions, and now he's being targeted. Why? Is it because he stands up on the front lines fighting for justice for his son-in-law? Everyone that's close to me, y'all target. Abbott is another Renshaw. He harassed me at the last council meeting. I guess he thought he was trying to intimidate me. It's just all retaliation. I'm sick and tired of DPD, this weak council, except for Mr. Jackson, and the evil man who y'all refer to as a mayor. I've been constantly disrespected, and one would think you all would say, she's been through enough. She has a right to be mad as hell. And you, McMasters, my husband was killed in your district, and you yet to do anything to help. You had one last chance to prove to this community that for once you will support and do the right thing, and you failed yet again. One thing's for certain, two things for sure. I'm not going anywhere. Y'all think I want to be here? I'm here because I have to be. What y'all did to my husband, he didn't deserve any of that. This fight is personal for me. We need a mayor that actually cares about this city, a council who's not pocket racist. You all will pay for the wrong you are doing. All of you have a day that's coming, and your family should be ashamed of you. Remember, your mind is blind. Remember, when your mind is blind, your eyes can't see. Mr. Jackson, thank you for everything. Thank you for standing up for right, even when you're the only one standing most of the time. Before the evidence came out from the gag hearing, you were the only one calling for Todd to step down. So thank you. If they were half the man you are, Decatur would be a much safer place for everyone. I'm going to leave you with this. What you do to the least of these, my brethren, you have done it unto me. Let every evil eye watching me be shut and never open again. Let Lord, confuse the plans of those sent to monitor and attack me. Turn those schemes back on them sevenfold. Get ready to reap what you've sown, and I pray God have no mercy on you. Billy Jackson for mayor.
Rodney.
Listen, good morning. Here's one minute, y'all. We back here again, discussing the same thing, the same problem. When we gonna come to common ground? You know what I'm saying? When we gonna stop this? Take the city forward. When we gonna just stop allowing this propaganda, this chaos? You understand what I'm saying? You know, as president, I'm the president of the NAACP. You're president of the city council. Well, when something go wrong, don't nobody call the NAACP on me and perpetrate as somebody else. If they do, then they eliminate it. You understand what I'm saying? What do you do? What you can't do, because it looked like you can do anything you want to do and get away with it here. I mean, and as leaders, as councilmen, it's time to step up, man. I mean, some things, especially this obvious stuff like that, that's obvious. Where's the character part of this? What's the character part? Do you have to have character to be the city lawyer? Do you have to have character to be a councilman? I mean, what is the line drawn? I mean, can you do what you want to do? Because that's what's happening, man, and it's destroying our city. I don't know why y'all think that this ain't going to affect y'all, because it's going to affect you too, because you live here. Well, sometime anyway. But you live here, and you're going to have to step up. You have to man up, man. Come on, y'all. I mean, we've been doing this for 20 months. Now the fight is between me and you. Yeah. Now it's competition. Bang, it's competition. And anytime there's competition, there's a loser. See, so we got to cut out the competition. We're in this together. Us. You understand? It's not a black thing, it's a right thing. It's time for you to stand up, man. You know, stop allowing this stuff to happen. And your mayor, come on. Was he right? I believe him. That's what he said. It was his words. It's on a T-shirt now. I believe him. And the news said he was wrong. He was wrong. Did y'all tell him he was wrong? Did any of y'all confront him and say, Tab, you shouldn't have said that you was wrong? Somewhere, somebody think they can do anything in this city, man, to get away, like the deaths. The deaths was on third shift. Every death was on third shift. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere, y'all, somebody think they can get away with it. You understand? So here's my plea to you all. Stand up, man. Man up, man. You know what I'm saying? It's time for y'all to step up. Handle your business, man. You need to confront this madness, because it's destroying our city. It's destroying our whole city, man. Our city's in shambles right now. And it make it look like y'all don't know what y'all doing. That's what it make it look like now. All right? And elections coming up. All right? We're going to vote to Leah this time.
Okay, so
only the spiritual are going to understand what I'm saying right now. A carnal mind is not going to understand it. What will the book, when I write the book or somebody else write the book, what will it say about each and every last one of you?
Come on now.
What will that book say? Will that book say that you stood in faith? Will that book say you stood strong? Would that book say that you just cowered out and just quit and threw up your hands in the midst of hard times? Or not even talking about the book that I may write. Let's talk about the book of life. What is he going to say about you while he gave you authority? Did you do the right thing with that authority, Mike? Or did you cower out and sit on your hands because of being afraid? Stopping public comments or trying to revitalize public comments the way they are now, it looks to me like you're shutting off the voice of the people because you don't want to hear it. You breaking us down to just, 2 times or whatever, but you never should close the voice of the government to the people. Because you need to hear what I have to say, and I need to hear what you have to say. And if we can't do that, then what do you leave us to? The mayor has already said, no, you can't talk to me. My door is closed. Now here comes a council saying, no, you can't talk to me anymore. My door is closed. So what are the people going to do? What, we're going to yell outside, scream outside? Our city is being destroyed. Those spirits have not rested. And since the spirits are not resting, it's causing devastation in our city. Accidents after accidents, OD after OD, overdose after overdose. Things are so chaotic in our city because it's a gray cloud over our city because those spirits can't rest. These spirits need rest so that we can rest and go to the next level. And it's a thing in this building where it's an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. You do me like this, I'm going to do you like this. That's not where growth comes in at. When I look at the news and I see the headline says, Decatur's drama. This town is so small that we should not be on the first segment of the news every night. It's a shame. Drama after drama after drama, and then you're going to push back against us instead of pushing back on the problem. What's the problem? You got to cut the head of a snake off in order to kill that snake. You all have not denounced this man.
That's right.
You all have seen the things that he has done. And you know what? God's going to hold you accountable for the things that you have done while you were in leadership. It's beyond me. It's beyond the community. But what is God going to say about you on the day of resurrection?
Come on.
That went over a lot of y'all's head, didn't it? Why don't y'all know how to do your job from the beginning? Jacob, you've been in this position for almost 4 years, yet now you want to look at what the right way to do things regarding public comment is. Why is that?
It got out of hand.
There was one curse word that was said. There was one curse word that was said prior to you adjourning the meeting. Now, we know that y'all will lie, so let's be clear. Is that right or wrong, true or false?
Before it was adjourned, there were multiple people that stood up yelling curse words.
You know, it's super typical of people in your position to move the goalposts when things don't go the way that you want them to. Your arrogance regarding our First Amendment rights is disgusting. Fact of the matter is, you can't silence us. See, we're resilient. That's just the way we were raised. People who look like me have always had to work twice as hard as people who look like you. I understand that our presence is intimidating, but that's only because we call y'all out on the things that y'all are trying to cover up, and we demand accountability. City employees are paid their salary by the citizens. We can praise them, but we can't critique them. Why is that?
City employees have certain rights that part of that would be they can't be talked about them.
Okay, so let me read this to you. A white woman, race educator Jane Elliott, says to an auditorium full of people, "I want every white person in this room who would be happy to be treated as this society in general treats our citizens, our black citizens. If you, as a white person, would be happy to receive the same treatment that our black citizens do in this society, please stand." Unsurprisingly, no one moves. She pauses. You didn't understand the directions. If you white folks want to be treated the way that blacks are in this society, stand. More marked silence and lack of movement. She continued, "Nobody's standing here. That says very plainly that you know what's happening. You know what you don't want for yourself. I want to know why you're so willing to accept it or allow it to happen to others." Nothing. Of course. So I'll end on saying that regardless to if you continue public comment or if you end it, you will not be able to silence us. We want the community to stay tuned to the podcast, Petty Politics, to where then we'll be able to speak on whoever, however, whenever we choose to. Justice for Steve, justice for John Scott Jr.
Sarah Matthews Bradford.
Good morning. I would just like to take a few moments of the council's time. I want to personally thank Mr. Billy Jackson for all the information and all the advocacy he has provided to our family. I'm here on behalf of the Matthews family concerning the Carrie Matthews Center. All the information that I have received has been in the media. And so I have not received anything or heard anything from the city of Decatur. Our family concern is that the center stays in Northwest Decatur, and that it serves that area of town. Okay,
Yeah, we hired what you would call OMI, but to look at the issues there. We got a good report back. I got an email, I think, from you yesterday morning to re-engage with OMI about helping us find an architect that would maybe specialize in that type of work. Our plan is to restore the building and keep it where it is.
Well, I appreciate that, but I would ask in the future if it would be feasible for Mr. Jackson to forward emails on the Carrie Matthews Center.
But it should be on the next council agenda to hire OMI. I think it's an additional $15,000 or so to help us find the appropriate architect.
And lastly, when we family started inquiring about Carrie Matthews Center, we were told by the city of Decatur that they were going to put a plaque in the Bank Street area where they have the benches and the plaques. I'm not sure what that area is called, what that park is called. It's kind of on Bank Street and Church Street, kind of, sort of. Not familiar. Okay. Well, if you're not, since you're not familiar, is there any way for you to check, the council to check, to see what the status of that has been?
Who said that they were going to do that?
Parks and Recreation.
Parks and Rec. I'll check with Parks and Rec, and I'll give you a call.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, and I hope that Decatur, Alabama will move forward, continue to move forward, continue to grow.
Anything from council? All right, we'll stand adjourned. Thanks.
All right, hey, girl. You do all right? You've been behaving yourself? I'm trying. Yeah. Good seeing you. Did you and Jurgen ever work things out? I said you and Jurgen ever work things out? I sent him an email and told him, I said, well, I didn't realize you were I didn't realize